share a smile with the person next to you so that you can build conversation after the break. This is Kolapan Sergeant at Arms. Every Toastmasters meeting consists of 3 basic rules. Disturbance can be avoided by putting your mobile on silent mode. Distractions can be avoided by not walking in the middle. Move only when you hear applause. Deviations can be avoided by not talking about sex, religion, and politics. I was planning to contest in the election for Sergeant at Arms in the club. A distraction came in the form of semester holidays and work from home internship. Had 2 options. One, to contest in the election to improve my public speaking and leadership skills. Or 2, be in the comfort zone and eat home cooked food, dream of every person living in hostel. I choose to contest in the election. Now I am standing in front of everyone. As the team says, please take distraction as challenge and make decision wisely to be successful. Let me introduce a person who give a break to social media distractions like Instagram and Facebook to focus on his personal and professional growth. Please help me in welcoming Chartered Account Trainer and President of our club, Toastmaster Shashank Bhatt.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. Good evening. How are you all doing today?
Very good. Great.
I call to order meeting number 1385. The minutes of the previous meeting, 1384, was shared over WhatsApp and by mail by our Secretary Toastmaster Suhas. Are there any amendments to the same? No. In that case, I consider the minutes of meeting 1384 as passed. Do you have any first time guests amongst us today? Yeah, quite a few. Can I ask any 2 or 3 of you please rise and introduce yourself to our club? Anyone, any 2 of you. Please go ahead.
Hey, my name is Akshat Chawar. I'm right now working as a Chief Technology Officer at Data. It's a marketing SaaS company. I'm here with my friend Aditya today.
Please. Yes.
Hi, I'm the co-founder and the director of a company called The Modern Classroom. My name is Mahbubullah Khan. Thank you.
Hello everyone, good evening. I'm Gopi Shanmugam, working for TCS for 5 years. My hobbies are playing cricket and traveling. Nice to meet you.
Okay. To be impartial, let us quickly have an introduction of all the first time guests. Others, please. Please go ahead.
Hello everyone, my name is Neela Manjireddy. I am working as an IT employee. I recently started one startup, it's an edutech startup. So I just want to learn something from this Toastmaster. So I joined here.
One of you, please go ahead.
Hi, I'm Rishi. I study as a veterinary student, and it's not my first time, so that's why I was
Welcome. Please, sir.
Hi, good evening everyone. Myself Kailash Ramdev. I am chartered accountant by profession and I'm working with Deloitte. This is first time with Toastmaster.
Very good. Welcome. Anyone else? Any other first time guests? Please, sir.
Hi, I'm Krishna Praveen. I'm working as a wealth manager in an asset management company. So I thought I just want to introduce myself and want to experience this. It's my first
I'm
time.
100% sure you come to the right place.
So, hi, I'm Rakesh Kumar Sahu, and I'm also a wealth manager and colleague of Mr. Krishna. So, yesterday afternoon we were discussing about socialize with, to attend some of the social gatherings, and we thought this is the right place to begin.
Absolutely. Okay. Members, how do you welcome all our dear guests? The theme for the meeting: starve your distractions, feed your focus. Now, there is no point in me saying you should not focus on your distractions, focus on this. There is absolutely no use. Why is that so? As long as it comes from within, there is no use of others imposing anything on you, unless it comes from within me. I'll give an example of my cousin who was a Toastmaster recently, Kaushal. You remember him?
Yes.
He is an ice cream freak. From the time he was born, it appeared as if he grew up with not a silver spoon, but an ice cream spoon. That was how he was, how he grew up. He always ate ice cream whenever he was free and he had some pocket money. I asked him casually once, what do you want to be when you grow up? He said, I want to open an ice cream shop. Back then, ice cream shops were normal small shops with some cone ice creams or soft ice creams. He's like, why do you want to open a small shop and spoil your life? He said, no, I like ice cream. I want to sell better ice creams to others. I will open an ice cream shop. Everyone else in the family tried to, take this thing off his mind and ask him to do further studies. But he took it up as a challenge. He didn't focus on all that nonsense which was going around him. At the age of 18 years and 2 months, he became the youngest franchisee holder of polar bear ice creams in India. He liked polar bear ice creams. He grew up studying eating ice creams, but he moved on to polar bear and that became his go-to ice cream almost every day. And without listening to anyone else, without focusing on the negatives or the you can't do it, he made sure that if I want to do it, I will do it. He became the youngest franchisee holder of polar bear ice creams. So what did I learn from this? Many people have told me, Shashank, we should do this, please do this, or do that, don't do this. We have 2 years, right? We can listen from here, we can put it out from here. That's what most of us do. But as long as it comes from within us, saying, I should do this, or I should change, or in this situation, I should attend the Toastmasters meeting every Friday. There is no point in anyone else forcing you to say, please come, as long as the power comes from inside us. We have one more example amongst us today. Someone, from the time she was very young, she loved embroidery and designing clothes. The parents were adamant, saying that you should do professional studies. She said no. And as soon as she finished the PUC, she did the course in NIT, National Institute of Fashion Technology. And now, we should be proud that we have one of the upcoming entrepreneurs of India in the field of fashion who runs a multi-crore entrepreneurship when it comes to fashion business. Let us welcome someone who was never distracted, focused on what she wanted, and here she is, the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Danya.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shashank, for such a warm welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, guests and fellow Toastmasters, it's my pleasure and privilege to serve you today as Toastmaster of the day. As a fashion designer in the software city of Bangalore, may I request you all for some help?
Yeah, you can.
Well, my computer of late has been very distracted. May I ask you why that may be? Come on, people! Software people! I'm a fashion designer.
Outdated model.
Very distracted and cranky. Well, I found out there were too many windows open. And as today, we are trying to starve our distraction and feed our focus, let's try and close all those windows in our mind with a small exercise of calming the mind. It's a small exercise, very simple exercise called box breathing. Let me explain it to you. It goes like a box. Step 1, breathe in. Step 2, hold your breath with your lungs full. Step 3, breathe out. Step 4, hold your lungs with your breath empty. Please join me. This little exercise of calming the mind has always helped me retain my focus. And you bet I was doing that before I came on stage. And yes, so today it's time for me to stay focused on the agenda for the day. So our agenda, as a standard practice at our Toastmasters meetings, gets split into 3 categories. Part 1 is the prepared speeches, where our members have prepared speeches of 5 to 7 minutes duration. They have practiced them, have received mentoring, and are ready to come up and speak. These speeches take a lot of hard work and dedication, and I'm sure it's going to be amazing and we're going to enjoy all the 3 speeches of the day. Part 2 is table topics, where our table topics master will come up with topics and call upon members from the audience to give impromptu 1 to 2 minute speeches. These speeches help us think on our feet and to be spontaneous in expressing our thoughts. And it's always fun-filled. Do look forward. Part 3 is the most important part of Toastmasters meetings, which is evaluation. Our general evaluator will provide a comprehensive feedback for the entire day's events and meetings. We will also have individual evaluations for every speech. And these evaluations help all of us improve as Toastmasters. Our general evaluator for today is a CA with 30 years experience in corporate and has worked in multiple parts of India and China, and is currently director with Element Technologies. He joined Toastmasters in his nascent years in India 25 years back, and has been an advocate for the positive impact it has had on his professional and personal life. Please put your hands together for Toastmaster Nitin Baikampadi. Is joined by his fabulous 3, the tag team members. Our timer, Toastmaster N. Nitin, is currently pursuing his MBA while he's also planning his startup. I request Toastmaster N. Nitin to introduce his role as timer.
Good evening, everyone. As a timer, it is my duty to time and record the duration of the entire meeting and its individual parts. For today's meeting, the speeches are 5 to 7 minutes in duration. At 5 minutes, I will hold up the green card, 6 minutes yellow card, and 7 minutes the red card. Table topic speeches are from 1 to 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I will hold up the green card, and 1.5 minutes, I will hold up the yellow card, and at 2 minutes, the red card. At the end of the meeting, I will give up my report to the general evaluator and submit to the club secretary in order to become a part of the permanent record. Thank you.
Our counter for today is Toastmaster Rakesh, who's a CA and has his own consulting firm and is a blockchain enthusiast. A freshly minted member of our club. I request him to explain his role.
Yeah, good evening Toastmasters and guests. Today I'll be taking up the counter role. I'll be recording the crutch words or the filler words that's used in between the speeches, and I'll report at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
today is Toastmaster Ratan Shetty, a veteran, active, proficient and inspiring Toastmaster. I request him to speak about his role.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Good evening. As grammarian, I am responsible for introducing the word of the day as well as for finding out the good usages as well as the not so good usages during the meeting. The word of the day today is enticement, which can also mean allurement. A form of usage of enticement could be that the child was enticed by the chocolates when she went into the shop. I would be making a note of the people who used the word for word of the day. Please make a note once again. The word of the day is enticement. I will be giving my report at the end when called upon by the general evaluator. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Let's put our hands together for the fantastic that we have today. And next, I'm going to share a little bit of interesting facts about Toastmasters Club, especially for the benefit of our guests. Toastmasters International was started in 1924 at Santa Ana in California by Ralph C. Smedley. He was then secretary of YMCA and he wanted to create a safe space where people could practice and improve their communication. It was started as an all-men's club, and 50 years, almost 50 years down the line, in 1973 it was opened up for women. And today, Bangalore Toastmasters Club has served more than 4 million people and is present in 144 countries. And before we get started on the day, I'm going to offer everyone an enticement. Yes, please stay focused. There are going to be questions at the end of the day and there will be prizes. Our first speaker for today is someone who has been working on making medicines more accessible and affordable, and in his role as consultant at the healthcare company DKI Healthcare. He believes in keeping it simple. He is the calm and composed Subhangshu Yadav. Before I call upon Toastmaster Subhangshu Yadav, let me call upon his speech mentor, Toastmaster Alan Aranda.
The purpose of this project is for the member to practice using vocal variety or body language to enhance a speech. Best of luck to the speaker. Back to the Toastmaster.
Please welcome Toastmaster Subhangshu Yadav. His speech title, not too simple, as a man wanted, is In the Making of Strategic Recommendation. In the Making of Strategic Recommendation, Toastmaster Subhangshu Yadav.
Do you know, all of you are good speakers. Trust you are good speakers. But with the strategic recommendations of Toastmasters, you can become one of the greatest speakers. So, do you want to know those recommendations?
Yes.
Good evening, Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
I am Subhangshu, I am a consultant, and today I am going to walk you through the life of the consultant, how we deal with the projects and how we make the recommendations. So the happiest day in the life of a consultant is when we onboard a client. But of course, nothing can beat the day when our salaries are credited in our bank account. But that's only once in a month. While onboarding a client is like winning a lottery ticket, except we have to work hard for it. And the process of onboarding a client is like dating. We have to look for our clients everywhere. We have to follow them on the social media accounts wherever they are present. Be it LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, blogs, you just name it. If they are there, trust one consultant will be there engaging with their each and every post. Even the post is decade long. And that's not enough. Sometimes we bug them in some conferences and like, hi, you are also here? What a coincidence. I don't know that. But really it's a coincidence? Who knows? But when we put them in and they have onboarded and signed our contract, then the laborious work starts. We have to research a lot about their needs, their problems, and their situation. And by research, I really mean Googling everything on internet. Their industry, their customers, their suppliers, their partners, their families, their friends, their pets, and not so whatever. And that's not enough. Also, we have to read their annual report, half-yearly report, monthly report, quarterly report, weekly report, hourly report, daily report, and reports. Hope you get the idea. And sometimes we also have to ask or chat with the chat GPT to get the strategic insights or the thought process. And once we collect all that data, now it's time to analyze and present it on the PowerPoint. And we have to make the slides clear, concise, and convincing to get trust, recognition, and of course next project from the client. And when we are making the slides, we have to be extra cautious with the data or the numbers we are presenting, because for a consultant, getting doubt on the number or the credibility of the number from the client is the scariest nightmare for him or her. Also, we have to make sure that all the objects in the slides, like table, graphs, charts, are perfectly aligned, so it makes the slide beautiful and compelling. Also, we have to make sure that we are confident enough about our data. So, and this is the part making the slides beautiful. We spend our most of the time, and sometimes we work straight 12 hours a day. We barely eat, sleep, or talk to our colleagues. And here we found strength in our team members. We came to know who is good at tweaking numbers, who is good at making slides, who is good at agreeing everything and nodding yes to boss, and who is good at just ignoring everything whatever we say. So here we apply the MISI model, that is mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive. That is, as an individual, we have all the unique strengths, and we come together as a team to solve the problem for the client and make those strategic recommendations backed with the data and beautiful story. So here's come the final day, when we have to present our findings to our clients, and we have to answer all their questions. And if in the middle of the presentation, client says, that number doesn't look good to me. Remember the scariest part? So now we have to make sure those numbers have a good reference and backed with a very good reference. And if we don't have reference, we have to search in the whole universe for the reference. And if we can't find the reference in the whole universe, we have to say it's from FMH, that is from my head. This is the time when we have to make ourselves trust and justify our fees. And for this, we have to be confident, articulate, and persuasive. Also, we have to be agreeable, amendable, and trustworthy to make sure that our clients delighted, and trust our recommendations. Because sometimes client doesn't want to hear what is best for them. They want to hear what is better or whatever they think is right. So that's how we make our clients better at what they're already good at. Thank you.
I think if Toastmaster Subhanshu were to practice this in dating, he's going to be in demand more than a consultant, especially since he said agreeable, amendable, and trustworthy. Let me call upon our next Toastmaster of the day, and before that, I will call upon her speech evaluator, Toastmaster Karunakar.
Thank you. The purpose of this project is to learn or review basic methods of writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech of any topic. Timer, please note, time duration 5 to 7 minutes.
Our next speaker is infectiously energetic and always enthusiastic, cool as a cucumber. And she's a proud homemaker, just completed her master's in psychology and loves music and is inspired by nature. Let's call upon Toastmaster Teresa. FPS.
Drag Ranga here and put him into the lion's den, said the king to his courtiers. Dear Toastmasters and guests, Ranga was most loved by his king. You know what happens when there is a love? There will be
Enemies.
Yes, you are right. When he was most loved by his king, there were so many enemies his courtiers were jealous about. And this unsuspicious king believed that enemies courtiers and made Ranga to get a more punishment. And the punishment of his death. Now, I request you to come to a picturize the situation, what I say. There is a hungry lion in a cage, roaring loud to eat Ranga as his sumptuous food. Here Ranga, standing and shivering, putting his head down. And there is the king asking Ranga, Ranga, you're going to die now. Let me know your last request. Ranga, humble voice. Your Majesty, please permit to speak to the lion for 1 second. Speak to the lion? Yes, Your Majesty. And Ranga went to the lion, whispered something in lion's ear. As soon he whispered, the lion, roaring lion, put his head down and off in front, and it was so scary. Everybody was surprised why the lion got so scared. And all these, as Melvin said, all enemies came, were enjoying. Now they want to see their enemy is going to die. So the courtiers came and someone opened the cage of the lion. And for everybody's surprise, lion did not come out, didn't even raise his head. They all tried, but all their efforts in vain. They waited for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. No, lion did not come out. Finally, king asked everybody to disperse. The curious king called Ranga and asked, Ranga, what did you whisper in lion's ears that made him so scared? Your Majesty, I just went to lion and said, be ready to give an after dinner speech. What? Yes, Your Majesty. I said the lion to give a speech after dinner, to be ready to give. Dear Toastmasters and guests, this is what I am going to speak today. Is nothing but what is it? FPS. In India?
Fear of public speaking.
Fear of public speaking. Great. Dear Toastmasters, Toastmasters, how many of you do not have fear of public speaking? Kindly raise the hand. Good. Yes. As per study done by University in America, 75% of this universe people are, having a fear of public speaking. Any idea what's the balance of 25%? Yes, they are just lying. You are right, Mr. Kamal. Now, when I joined to Toastmaster, I had a great ambition. I would like to ask, where is our VPAD? Yes, Madam AD and VPAD. What was your intention to join Toastmasters?
My fear, to gain confidence to be able to speak on stage. That was my
Great. Fear, yes. To gain the confidence, you joined. Same here. I too joined Toastmasters to gain confidence, to eradicate my fear of public speaking. After many years, somehow I gathered and was able to stand here and speak something to the audience. But because of many reasons or excuses, I can say, I was very regularly irregular. And today, when I was asked to speak, I really took all my efforts, and with the great difficulty I walked. And when there were cheers, and when there was applaud, yes, I had strength. And what I had, butterflies in my stomach, and when I came here, and when I looked at everyone, the smiling face, starting from Sergeant at Arms, the President, Robinson, Kamalakar, if I tell many, everybody's name, you'll show the red card. So, as soon I saw it, show already. But it was like 1,000 watts bulb to me. So, one request on the all the guests, kindly raise your hands. Yes. You all want to eradicate your fear of public speaking? Yes. You don't worry about, don't download all these contents, what it is given in the website. There are so many things they are asking to do. But here I am asking, my purpose is only one. Only one contact point is our VP membership Toastmaster Jospol. Can you raise? Yes. Chief guests, my dear guests, and Toastmaster, those who are not very regular like me, please contact and you will eradicate everything. All are ready for this? Yes. You all promise that you will come regularly to the meeting? Yes. Guests, you are ready to meet Jospol after this break or after meeting? After dinner. That's all. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, teacher. I apologize, I missed calling DTM, Distinguished Toastmaster. And yes, as DTM Teresa was telling us, to fear and to still do it is victory. And we're all here in spite of all our fears, marching towards victory. I would like to invite our next speech evaluator, Toastmaster Ganesh Pai, to read out the speech objectives.
Thank you. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, a very good evening. The speaker is attempting project 1, understanding your communication style from level 2. The purpose of this project is for the member to learn about different communication styles and identify her primary style. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share the impact of her style on others. Timer, please note, speech like this 5 to 7 minutes. All the best to the speaker and Bangalore.
Our next speaker for the day is the software engineer and the solopreneur who is in data visualization and web development. She's an amazing speaker whose clarity, vocabulary, and humor is something I admire. She is Toastmaster Chaitra Chandapillai. Toastmaster Chandra Chandapillai, speech title Evolving.
My mother likes to talk about how I used to send out my emails when I was in college. You see, I didn't speak much with my parents over the phone. So at one point, my father got very annoyed and he sent me an email with a list of questions. How are you doing? How are your classes going? Why didn't you call us? And I responded like I was writing an exam. 1, I'm doing fine. 2, my classes are going okay. And 3, because I have midterms this week. Precise and to the point. I believe that there was no need to add any unnecessary fluff. My parents, however, disagreed strongly. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Good evening. Do you know what the main communication styles are? Does anyone want to take a guess? Direct. Initiative. Analytical. Supportive. Okay. So analytical thinkers, communicators, tend to be precise, systematic, and analytical, like your stereotypical engineers. Supportive communicators like to be approachable, calm, and gentle. Direct communicators like to be to the point, goal-oriented, and sometimes a little competitive. While initiating communicators like to be spontaneous, enthusiastic, and outgoing. A few years back, I used to be more of a direct communicator. I used to believe that it was not necessary to ask people, how are you? Unless you were talking to relatives or friends. And so I had this strange conversation with my colleague one day. Hi Karthik, did you make any changes to the server yesterday? There was a long and awkward pause. Hi Chaitra, how are you? That's when I realized that I really needed to work on my communication style. I needed to build a rapport with different people, and therefore I had to take a different approach. I began to be a little more mindful. And I also joined Toastmasters, which has had a huge impact. It turns out being forced to come here and talk on stage makes a large difference on how you talk when you're outside Toastmasters. I was not surprised to find out that I was an analytical communicator because this was something that I had seen throughout my life. But I was a little surprised to see that I was also now a supportive communicator. I've always adopted an analytical thought process, and this comes across very strongly in how I talk to other people. It has its plus points, especially when you're at work or when you're a student. But it's not always a positive trait, and you do have to learn to adapt. For example, I remember these long conversations I had with my friends, and they would talk to me and complain about how other people's actions affected them. And I used to jump right in and give them suggestions on what they could do. They were not very happy. It turns out that I view the whole point of the conversation as a way to solve a problem. While for them, they just needed to express their feelings and maybe rant a little bit. So this is how I learned to sit back, nod along, and agree with them that yes, their landlord is definitely a nightmare to deal with. Little by little, I began to change how I talk to others. It became, as I had different conversations, I began to become a little more comfortable expressing my feelings, which was something that was very strange to an analytical communicator. I began to realize that different people have different things that they need out of a conversation. And I saw the importance of listening. I began to see the extra details in conversations, not as unnecessary fluff, but as interesting details that they wanted to share. And so, this led to me changing drastically over the last few years. And when I go back and look at how I used to send 3-sentence emails to my parents when I was in college, I can see how much I've changed. I can see how much I have evolved. Dear me.
That was wonderful. Listening to Toastmaster Chaitwa's evolution as a communicator and also linking it to how Toastmasters has helped her in the journey is really inspiring, and how she has used her analytical thinking still to analyze that and express her communication. We will now be I think first we should all put our hands together for the wonderful speaker that we have. All the speakers truly inspiring. And we will now take a 5-minute networking and bio break. For those of you who are not aware of the place, the toilets are at the back of the conference room. And any guests who want to interact and understand more about joining Toastmasters Club, please meet with our VP, Toastmaster Jose. It's 7:12 as per my watch. We will start back sharp 7:15. Thank you. Oh, sorry, 7:17. Oh, everyone's focused. Thank you very much. We are running on time, extremely focused as a group, and thanks for being seated back on time. Now, I'm going to ask all of you to please stand up. Who's the dancer here? Okay. Can I request Toastmaster Alan to join in quickly then?
Yeah, Alan. Yes, yes.
Okay. Yes? Okay. I'm not great at this, so I need some help. Guys, everyone, please join us in doing a twist. Who can go down? I can't. Wow! So that was part 2 of strategy for focus, everyone. Move your body. So first we spoke about calm your mind, and strategy number 2 for focus is move your body. And as we move on to our next part, the most fun and exciting table topics. Our table topics master is a consultant with PwC firm. He has been part of Toastmasters Club for 4 years now and has taken up various roles in our club. Please join me in welcoming Toastmaster Kamlesh Kumar.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Last year, I was trying for a job change. And after burning a midnight oil, I come across few interviews. And in one of the interviews, I reached to the final round. And I was asked a question that really struck me hard. And I was completely blank. But there is an experience in the practicing table topics in the Toastmaster that triggered me to answer the question just like cutting the butter smoothly. This is what the power of practicing table topic. If you are practicing table topic every now and then, you are going to be a good, not just a good speaker, but a good thinker. Today, we are having a table topic, and just for the guest, I just would like to tell you, table topic session is an impromptu session. You will be called for stage, and I will give you the topic, and you have to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. So timer, please note, timing is 1 to 2 minutes. You can give the green signal at 1 minute, yellow at 1.5, and 2. At 2, you can give the red flag. So today's topic is very focused towards very simple, and I'm sure that you have never ever heard this simple topic. I'm sure that most of the time you are come across many of the things, but we never think about it. Never ever try to think that whether this, what can be, I can think, what I can experience, whether I can read the story out of that. So today we made very simple, and definitely I'm sure that you are going to love it. So are you ready for it? Yes. Great, thank you. So today I will call the speaker and announce the topic only once. And the topic is very simple, it is single word. So you have to create a story. Either you can share the experience, whatever you want, but for 2 minutes, right? So I would like to call the first speaker of the table topic. The speaker is Toastmaster Ankit. And topic for you is tomato.
Sometimes it becomes, in fact, many a times, in fact, all the times, it becomes so difficult to talk on something so simple as tomato. All I see on YouTube videos nowadays is the hike in the tomato prices. Agree? Yes. Now, if there's so much hike in the tomato prices, would you ever eat tomato?
Why not?
Yeah, be very cautious. That's the first thing that came to my mind when I think about tomato. Second thing that comes to my mind when I think about tomato is it's a very famous quote which goes like this: knowledge is knowing that tomato is a fruit, but wisdom is knowing not to put it in a salad. You can give a round of applause for that. But growing up, I have always been a lover of tomato, simply because it's the first thing that I could find in a salad, and with my usual, oh God, it's so difficult, tomato. I just passed the chance, right? It's so
Nevertheless, let's move to the next topic, and the speaker is Toastmaster Robinson D'Souza. And the topic for you is boss.
Has they given this topic to me because I'm very good? Or am I dressed? There are different types of bosses. And my experience is entirely different with bosses. I started my life working under a boss in the year 1969. I had gone there for the first job. And that boss, I was remember for. After dictating for a while, which since it was my first job, first day, I found it difficult to translate and all. Then he shouted, "You have faith, you don't know anything. I'm not prepared to give dictation to you. You can't work under me." I kept quiet. And a little while later said, "Give me 1 week. I learned." After 15 days, he loved my work, and he said something to me, It changed my entire life. from somewhere I became, from nowhere I became somewhere. Thereon, I worked under different bosses, judges, whom I stopped detecting, saying that, sir, your facts are wrong. They looked at me and shouted, how can you say my facts are wrong in the open court? And I told him, sir, earlier you said this, now you said this, they don't chill. He apologized. And I have worked under other bosses and whom I was seeing. But one thing, we should not have that ego. We have to make the person under us rise in life. With that attitude, every boss should have, and we'll have a very nice work.
Now I would like to call Toastmaster Ayappa. Let's see that how the boss Ayappa. So let's see that how the boss can make him romance. Topic is romance.
You know what? This is a revenge actually. Last time the table topic for him was Oslo. So say 100% revenge. Okay. Romance. Yeah. The best thing is a compliment, and probably yes type would be yes boss would make our life easy, especially if it's a lady boss. Yes, I mean we can get away from the micromanagement, and yes, I worked with a couple of very gorgeous lady boss, but all were married and kind of and the husbands also used to work in the same office. So that was, and there was one lady actually, I still remember, but I don't know if it's romance or whatever, like, and there are so many people in the organization, in the project, and she used to call me to the conference room every time, because after my graduation, I mean, I just wanted to relax, I want to get into some testing. So this lady used to call me to the conference room and tell, they used to call me Girish, why are you doing testing? You have a lot of potential in development. 2 years, you have to be in the development. And every time, at least twice in a month, this conversation used to go on. And I don't know what was the thing like. And after that, finally, I switched my field after 6 months to development. And it really worked. And I continued, I mean, as a developer for some time. And I don't know whether to say like love or something like that. And I still remember that lady. Because of that, whatever I'm achieving today is because of her. Yeah, thank you.
So being very serious on it, I thought romance was at a different level altogether. Okay. So let's come to the next speaker. Next speaker is Puneet Surana. The topic for him is let's see that how he good at the party.
Party?
Yeah.
I am a party. I've always believed this. It's fascinating. I think if you ever want to be social, you have to adopt this philosophy. You are a party. Wherever you go, you are the party. So I can tell you as that I am Bangalore for Vistas, and the events just got over, and they're going to something called as L Square, which is nestled between all the hostels. And all of these are introverts, shy and everything. And so I was the guy that went up, put music on and started dancing. And slowly other people started coming in and started dancing. It became so crazy that we had to get a student who was a resident DJ to take care of the music. And then I was getting late, I had to go back to somewhere else. So I left with my guests, and my guests were like, hey, that party. And I was like, hey, I started the party. I can start that party anywhere. Wherever I go, I always think I am the party. I am the center of the space. And that is why I get to get people to me. It's fascinating as a philosophy for me because that means I start the energy, I get things moving, I make sure everyone is involved. Because you can't have a party if you don't involve people. And so whenever I go to places, I host some of the biggest startup events in Bangalore. They are fun because nobody is excluded. I don't go to the popular person, I don't go to the rock stars, I don't go to the billionaires. I go to the kids and I involve them. I go to that lone werewolf stranger and I involve them. I go to that wallflower lady and I involve them. Once I start involving them, the rest of the vibe just rises and you can feel there's something in the air, there's a little bit of magic, there's a little bit of mystery, and you want to know what is this about. And then when I go to another venue, people end up following me there. And then because I know a lot of people, a lot of times I see I'm sitting in a cafe and people walking by just join me in the conversation. I remember, I can end with this, I was at an event in Manipal to tell students about something, and I was in that canteen. It so happened there was a canteen at a table for 4, but then over 20 people came and sat. People would just see what the hell is happening on this table, because that is the kind of party you want to go. So be a party wherever you go. You'll never have a dull day. Thank you.
You need to change your name then. It should not be there. Uni Surana is a party. So let's move to the next topic. I would like to call Saurabh. And the topic is very simple. Rain.
Okay. So we just had a rain. Bangalore Toastmasters. So I was in the cab, and I was thinking, when it was raining, I was kind of scared. How will I get down from cab and then go to Bangalore Toastmasters? But luckily the rain was stopped, and I could come to Bangalore Toastmasters Club without trenching. And now rain isn't very much in use. We know how so modern cities like Delhi and all many other cities in North India have have been flooded with heavy rain. But why it is happening? We know that a couple of years back even Bangalore had a big problem. That we citizens did not do our job responsibly and did lots of construction widely that could block so many drainage and water pass system. And when rain came a couple of years back, we have seen that how even CEO of a company had to come out on the tractor or belgadi. We have seen that. So rain brought everyone to the same level, no matter whether I am CEO or whether I am office keeper or whether I am a peon. Everyone had to go to same way, whatever transport is available, whether it's a tractor or belgadi or if we can't do anything, then we have to swim. That's all.
Rain is really democratic. So let's move to the next topic. The speaker is Aditya, and topic is OTT.
First and foremost, good evening, dear Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
OTT, I think it's literally the most easiest topic you would have had in the roster. But if I were to talk about OTT, I think that particular space has evolved so much that we have our individual picks. Let me ask a very simple question. Let's do a very simple poll. How many of you love Netflix? Raise your hands. Netflix people. What about Hotstar? Any Hotstar lovers? A few HBO fans, right? What about Prime? Amazon Prime people. What was that series that came? Lord of the Rings, right? Lord of the Rings was the one famous. So OTT as a particular space has evolved so much that we get to select our picks. It's no longer like there's only one place, there's YouTube only where you're trying to find clips of movies or your particular shows. The enticement of getting your needs being met has been proliferated to a level that OTTs are now catering to you, right? We had F1 earlier on several sports channels. Now F1 came with their own platform altogether, just to cater to you, right? So one good thing or bad thing about OTT is we all have been trying to make our way away from screens, And while we love the content that we watch, we might not want to keep on watching it forever. So I would like to just end this particular table topic with a simple question. Who can quote the most number of times that they have watched a particular series? I'll go first. Friends, 12 times. Can somebody beat me? What's the highest? What's the highest? Did anybody beat me? Friends, 12? Akshat.
I've stopped counting.
That's my man. Back to you.
In a body team, and Aditya is one of them. So let's move to the next speaker. I would like to call Toastmaster Kirtana.
So a lot of them saw me today wearing specs and probably for the first time they would have felt that okay, padaku hogi. No, not really. I got it through hereditary. So that's a little disadvantageous for me. Plus, yeah, there are libraries in my school, college, everywhere. We went there not to read, but to just sit and time pass. However, my mom used to tell me, take some books and come home. Just for the sake of her to see that I have brought a book, I used to just make the library card, take a few books home. Other than that, what do you think about library? Anybody can go first? Anybody? Please go.
I've slept a lot of library.
Amazing. That's one more thing you can do in library. Tired, difficult classes, boring classes, go to the library, keep a bag, take a nap. Back.
Very happy said Kirtana. Nowadays importance of library is going down, and that is why you have pointed out very nicely. Let's move to the next speaker. The speaker is Sampath Kumar.
Family. Yeah. So family is very important to anyone. End of the day, we work and we do a lot of stuff entirely for family. And when we fail, family is always there to support us, to stand with us. And so whatever you do in your life, ultimately, even you guys study well and they go for a better job and better salary, and everything finally it ends up with the girl whom you want to marry and get a family. So everybody has different aim. Somebody wants to become an engineer, somebody wants to become a doctor, somebody wants to become some great sportsman. But finally, they all their aim becomes one thing. Finally, to have a beautiful family and to live with them and to live for them. Thank
you. Let's move to the next within the family. What happens? Let's see that. Now I would like to call Rahul D'Souza.
Childhood. My childhood. Okay, wow, childhood. Childhood reflects a lot about who we are, how we evolve, what happens to us, how we change. Some people have it traumatized, some people have it very spoiled, some people have it through different ways of how they involve themselves through a lot of enticement. They have a lot of, what do you say, being a child, when you grow up, you automatically start to have certain kind of craving, certain kind of desire to evolve, improve, assess. You're just a sponge, basically. You're just thinking about whatever happens. You're just responding to stimulus. You're not thinking about stuff very clearly. And the thing is, it helps you evolve into being a better human being, looking at understanding how improvements can happen. I'm still a child. I still believe there's so much to learn. There's so much to grow about.
So next speaker for the day is Vishal. and the topic for you is traffic.
Good evening, Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
So I'm a person who loved riding my bike, driving cars, but I have since moved away from that and I take only the metro or buses or autos. Can anyone tell me why? Traffic, exactly. Bangalore traffic has been rated second worst in the world. I think this all comes down to just something that I noticed at this signal, where this person with his hand shows left, with his indicator shows right, but ends up going straight. And there's also the case of people just getting licenses without giving the exam or faking the exam. But you can't do much about that. The best you can do is drive and also listen to a lot of yogic music while driving, because you're going to need to calm yourself down. Apart from that, no other suggestions. If you need any anger management tips while driving, please don't approach me, because my father has forbidden me from driving, because apparently he has heard more profanities come out of my mouth while driving than in his entire life. Over to you, Toastmaster.
If you have to take the tips on traffic, you know where to go, right? So move to the next speaker. Now I'd like to call Toastmaster Melvin. And the topic for you is values.
Values, as in the value of money or values that you give to people or the values that you possess. I think it's so important to have good values in your life, because you have to pass them on. I think I got all my good values mainly from my parents. And so it's so important to have good values, because one day if you're a parent, your children will inherit them. I think the best value I have, or some of the best values that I've got from my parents is humility, honesty. Maybe I don't have all those values, but I think these are the values I saw in my parents, and trust. I think in life, if you have good values, it's so important to have values than having money, because money you can always get by hook or by crook. Good ways and bad ways, but values you can just not get. You have to inherit them, you have to imbibe them to become a better person. With that grandfather advice, back to the
No doubt, values are important, and I always believe that values are always stronger than states. Let's move to the next speaker. Now I'd like to call Toastmaster Vishwanath. And the topic for you is health.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Thank you for giving such a small topic for me. I think health is, over a period of time, I think post-COVID and during COVID, we have already known actually how much importance we have to give for the health. It's not about how much money you made it, or the class on which you are using, probably in an Audi car you are going. More than that, it's about the health part of it. How much importance you need to be very fit, take right amount of even alcohol also to make sure that you are healthy. Whatever you do a proper diet, take a balanced diet. More than taking the inputs from the doctor, I think dietitian has become now more expert now. Actually, they have become a more paid job. Actually, it is that more often than if you go to general practitioner also, they give every details, BP, sugar, this, that, and finally they say, can you please consult dietitian also. The reason behind it, they know actually how to make a good amount of money from that consultant. But giving that part ahead here, I think what we have to focus here is on a daily basis, do a proper walking, like as he is doing. And then have a proper sleep time, have a good diet of 9 to 6 job, even if you do or you don't do it, at least be occupied. Like how he is showing the yellow card now. And lastly, what you can do, spend time with family. I think there was a big topic that was given, family. I think we can write books on that. So spend time with family, take a leisure of your time, watch TV, or even take a nap of what is going on in the mobile in terms of the messages. Thank you for giving me such an
wonderful tips on health. Let's move to the next speaker. Next speaker is DTM Gangadhar.
Good evening, all Toastmasters, guests, and table topic master. Fashion has become such a bizarre word today. And if I might start with the lesser the clothes, the more fashionable you are. That's the sad part of fashion today. There was a time when fashion had some values. It went with family, heritage and stuff like that. It had culture. But today, it's no more that. And anything you do, if I can come with one side half and one side full, that's fashion. And there's nobody to question me on that. Because anything can be sold in the name of fashion. It's just that the people have got the aura of things. And brands are promoting rubbish in the name of fashion. And people are buying it, paying a bomb, which is a sad part of it. Think. Is this fashionable? Does it make sense? What does it cost? Does it suit me? Will people say, wow, or will they laugh at me behind my back? This is a very important thing. So fashion has become meaningless today in the real sense of it. I know a man who's wearing a sari and comes on WhatsApp and groups like that. So fashion is become so bizarre, and anything you do is fashion.
Thought-provoking insight. Now we'd like to call Toastmaster Karan. And your topic is holiday.
Holidays. Oh, wow. Let me. Perfect topic. What better to not talk about holidays? Okay, let me talk about the holidays that I'm currently spending. So we were planning to go to Singapore, in fact. Why? But we were planning to go to Singapore to visit a couple of family friends and then just explore the city. However, what happened was my grandmother had a wish to visit her her side of the family. So we cut up a Singapore trip into 4 trips to Kerala, where in fact we had to go. We went to Cochin, and I visited a couple of friends over there. And then in the meantime, I managed to do a couple of internship, and then
again you went to the holiday.
Sorry? Yeah, I'm still enjoying the holiday. In fact, I joined Toastmasters in this holiday. The reason is I believe in everyone's life there are 5 chins for a monkey there are 5 chins that dictate their behavior. So I spent most of my time around my 5 chimps: my friends, my family, my music community, which I spend around, and finally you Toastmaster chimps. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now I would like to call Srinivas. Yeah. Your topic is nature.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. So nature, basically, being in metro city like Bangalore, we are more fascinated to see the tall buildings. But most of the Bangalorean at the evenings they go to nature, walk, right? Parks. That is why it is called garden city, right? So basically, I am also a nature lover. Basically, I love when it is raining, but not when I am stuck up in traffic, right? So weekends, basically, I love to go to places and have a walk, because ultimately nature makes your mind calm, and that helps you be what you are rather than what in the busy world we are busy with so many stuff. So I think from child, anyone who have a walk in a garden will recollect the play, the playfulness and everything in childhood we enjoyed in nature. So I would recommend each one of you spend enough time in nature. Nature will calm you and make your mind calmer and make you perform even better in your work. With this, I would hand over to
Now let's move to the next speaker. I would like to call Toastmaster Hannah. The topic is newspaper.
A very good evening, my dear fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
Topic is newspaper. It's been ages since I opened one, to be honest with you. I now subscribe to a shorts, which I read news in say 30 seconds at the most. So what I use the newspaper for, my mother-in-law gets it, so there are some uses for the newspaper. Maybe to wrap the fruits, to ripen faster, and then for my hens, when the new ones, the chicks are born. So many uses to a newspaper, though I have no clue what the current, in the sense, in detail, I may not know what's happening around the world, but I do use them, put them to good use, and yeah, that's about it, about the newspaper. Thank you.
Now I'd like to call Toastmaster Vijay Kakundri. The topic for you is trade. What? Yeah.
Thank you for that topic, Mr. Tabletop Master. Then probably the Tabletop Master is referring to the newly launched newly launched app from Facebook called Thread, or the needle in the thread, like either ways. So with the evolution of OTT platforms, the family being important, we spending a lot of time on screen, there is a new distraction in the market, and it's called thread. And the Facebook very recently to engage people more on the screen launched a new company called Thread. So why is social media becoming so much important in our life is, though we don't get our newspapers regularly, so people want all the information in 30 seconds and as they happen. I'll tell you a very interesting situation which happened in 2006. So there was a time when there was a earthquake, there was small earthquake kind of thing happening in Bangalore, and I was in Marathani. I was at third floor of a building, and you will not believe me, we were coming down.
And there's already the update in the app which said that there's an earthquake in Marathon. I was like shocked. And other time which happened really, I was stuck in a traffic jam at Richmond Circle. The jam was still majestic. And as I was walking through the road, there was a building which was on fire. And you will not believe that was already printed on a newspaper. So the thread, the new application which is all about news and latest happening tells us that people want to know the information as they happen. And thread is the new thing that will connect us to the information.
We also look forward to your great insight on the technology. Now I would like to call Dr. Nisha. Your topic is climate. Yeah.
Thank you. Good evening, Toastmasters. Climate. There are different types of climates, as you all know. There will be summer, winter, and rainy season. There are different types of climates in over different parts of the world. But which climate do everybody like? Does everybody like? Everybody definitely must be liking winter season because it is like it's very cool, calm, and there are climates. The climates actually keep changing depending on the part of the hemisphere or wherever you are located. Sometimes there are long summers, long winters, and a beautiful climate actually really makes your mood upbeat. So always, and then there is, if the climate is very good, then there'll be a lot of people who will be very pleasant, I feel, and you should always save. Actually, I'm going to environment, but yeah, we should always save the environment to make the climate, keep the climate very good. Thank you.
Aditya M. Yeah, come on stage. And your topic is time.
Time is of the essence. That's a very powerful phrase which a lot of us have heard. So how many of you have heard of Amitabh Bachchan? Can I get a show of hands, please? So I had the privilege of meeting his granddaughter recently. So she came to Jain University to give a talk on basically her entrepreneurial journey. So she started when she was 21 years old. She's currently 25 years old. So I had an exchange with her which left me deeply in a thinking and pondering state. So basically she helps out underprivileged girls get an education in the rural and the urban side of throughout India basically. And I had a wonderful exchange with her. And I asked her, if we had a limited amount of time in the world, suppose like our own lifestyle is not that long when compared to a cosmic scale. So what would you do with it? So she told me that we should basically, if we come from privilege, we need to check our privilege and give back to the world. Because all men are created equal and we need to impart our privilege, our wealth, our values, our education to the underprivileged to create a wonderful time for us all here on this brief journey called life. Thank you.
Now I would like to call last speaker of the day. I would like to call Himani Pandey. Your topic is mango.
Season is over.
So great topic. I am an absolute mango lover. I love mangoes in desserts, mango orchard outside my house where my family is in the foothills of Himalayas in Nainital, and even in my ancestral house, we used to have like a big mango orchard. I think mango is one fruit that everybody likes. And there are so many varieties of mangoes. If you go, I lived in Pune, and there were multiple varieties of mangoes that I saw there. Once I moved down south here in Bangalore, there are different varieties of mangoes that I saw. And I think in the north, since I come from north, one of the favorite mangoes varieties that I particularly like is the sherry. Yeah, so I think mango is a fruit that I always look forward to when there is mango season. And that's about it.
So with this sweet session of table topic, the session is getting over. But before this, I leave the stage. I just want to give you some thought on your mind. Definitely that this session was really thought-provoking because each word you come across every day. And I think I used to also practice because this was the one session that I got from my friend Ayappa. So give him a round of applause. And that is you come across every day, but let's say, can you try in your home, your office, how you think about it, and definitely that will help you, your thinking, your the way that you approach to your communication skill. So that is what I would like to say, and I'm sure that you will like the session. Thank you.
Kamlesh, for an exciting and fun-filled table topic session. We had single word topics, but I thought they would be simple, but I think it was not really as simple as it sounded. Everybody had to think hard on their feet. And as Toastmaster Kamlesh said, he believes in sweets, but wants to keep it healthy. So starts with the fruit and ends with the fruit. And we had a fruit salad at the time. I would like to invite upon for our next session, which is the evaluation session and the final session of the day. 3 times president of our club, Toastmaster Nitin.
Thank you, TM Dhania. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Good evening. Last week, I think TM Melvin was mentioning 3 things a Toastmasters movement focuses on. What are those 3 things? Toastmaster Melvin?
Better speaking.
Better speaking. Better listening. And better thinking. From this perspective, a general evaluation is not a judgment. It is a viewpoint of the evaluators who come over here and speak. So the evaluatees who are being evaluated, take it as a viewpoint. This is the pointers for your improvement. And as the new term, new team has put their theme as evolving always. I think it's in that perspective the general evaluation session is going to be. First of all, I would like to mention, though today Chandrayaan 3 took off and was placed in the orbit, but our new team took off last week and still going to find their orbit. And with the kind of suggestions and improvements all of us can give to the new team, and that is what they are going to focus on. First of all, I saw the posters with education. You should know that there's a difference between presiding officer and president. If I am the president, I would like to be called as a president, not a presiding officer. So posters ensure that when the president is speaking, mention as president. Somebody else is going to speak, mention as a presiding officer. And also, I saw the ribbons missing. Earlier team used to have the ribbons, so ensure that we showcase our brand here. That is done, and bring the posters around so that let's bring some glamour and some colors to the Toastmasters. Now, at 6:25 when I entered, I wanted to know how the preparation is going on for the meeting. Sergeant Rams Kolapa was struggling with the mic. I was wondering, okay, now the meeting is not going to start at 6:30, but somehow he managed to ensure that he pulled all the resources who were coming, sought their help, and ensured that the meeting started on time. Kudos to Kolapa for the I've seen Kolapa when as a initial stages where he was struggling to speak, and his main purpose of getting into Sergeant Arms, I was telling him in the installation time that is the best thing to take after the president, because you get a chance to come and speak every week. So he has taken it well. Today you can see him so nicely dressed, so confident, and so beautifully started the meeting. Only suggestion I would give Kalapan is don't by heart things that you want to say, because you're going to speak every week. Bring some new topics and tell whatever you want to say, but certain basic things you maintain. So well done, Toastmaster Kalapan team. And then the presiding officer, president. Right? President, I just trying to pull a fast one. President took over. President has his own style. He was confident, and he was authoritative. He was talking about the ice cream and his friend and Toastmaster Kaushal, and how he connected that with the theme. That's very interesting. And the way he invited Toastmaster Dhanya, introduced, that was wonderful. I think a lot of things to be learned from Toastmaster Shashank as a president. Give him a big round of applause. I'll come to Toastmaster Dhanya later. The first speaker of the day was Toastmaster Shubhanshu Yadav. He was talking about strategic recommendation, and he is being evaluated by Toastmaster Alan Arana. Please come and give your evaluation.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Good evening. Now, with the purpose of using vocal variety and body language in your speech, in my humble opinion, Toastmaster Subhanshu, I thought you did a wonderful job. Firstly, as you entered on stage, you were brimming with confidence. You masterfully peppered humor throughout your speech, and without a use of mic, your spoken language was clear and easily understood. You made use of eye contact deftly by involving the audience and used it to convey the many emotions that your speech had, and by doing so, you really involved the audience. Toastmaster Subhanshu, you appeared completely self-assured by fully integrating your physical gestures with your content, even as you use triads like clear, concise, and consistent. You also use tools of tone, speed, and volume to deliver what I thought was a highly compelling speech. Your speech was also further strengthened by purposeful movement on stage. Having said that, Toastmaster Subhanshu, in my humble opinion, here are the few pointers that would have taken your speech to another level. Now, you had a very simple, you brought in a lot of humor, but here was a statement you made about stalking clients on social media. So if I were you and I said you must stalk someone on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram, right? So you reinforce by usage instead of just talking about it or moving your hands. That is something that could have enhanced your body language, especially by using triads. Now the other triad that you use, clear, concise, consistent, would have emphasized your point even better. Now the other thing was about your voice modulation. Now you had a wonderful dialogue where you said, if I accidentally bump into my boss, and if you say, oh sir, and your boss says, oh hi Subhanshu, how are you? And you say, oh sir, I didn't expect you to be here. Just that use of different voices would have enhanced that experience of meeting your boss. And the last but not least, the fact that you used thank you at the start and thank you at the end, I felt it diluted the impact of a powerful opening and a powerful ending. But overall, Toastmaster Subhanshu, you delivered an enticing speech, and without a doubt, I am sure your speech is going to be an enticement for this wonderful audience. That was the general.
Thank you, T.M. Marana. I think to what T.M. Marana said, Subhanshu, you have a great quality of breaking humor. I noticed even on a serious topic, when you're talking about strategy and all that, the humor was evident. I think that's a great quality. Please build on that capability. You would be a great speaker, I think. The next speaker was Toastmaster Teresa, talking about FPS being evaluated by Toastmaster Karunakar. Karunakar, please come and welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. The purpose for Teresa's topic was to present a well-organized speech on any topic. Let's see how she has done today. To start with, Teresa had a complete clarity of what it should be spoken, how to address the topic, and the size of the font shows how strongly she believed in the topic. Fear of public speaking and the ways to combat or counter it. What I loved a lot about your speech are two things, Teresa. One, your expressions. When you mentioned, no, the lion did not come out, right? We were zoned out, imagining lion, grills, right? People, courtiers all around. That was impressive. The second is that you had a very colorful picturization, speaking into the ear, dramatize the last request, and much more. And secondly, it also showcased that you really connected very well to the topic. You had fear of public speaking, how you combat it, and you also showed that the entire people have some fear, some accept it, some don't, right? The only scope for improvement that I can see is, to give an example, the first half was very gripping, like a Ram Gopal Verma movie. Just the first half is gripping in most of its cases. And just the last 2 minutes of your speech had an impromptu or unrehearsed sentences, a few incorrect grammar here and there. But otherwise, a fantastic delivery. And you had the authority, you had the command to speak about the fear of public speaking and ways to combat it. So very well done. Put your hands up for her with everybody.
Thank you, Toastmaster Karunakar. And for the information of Toastmasters Assembly here, Toastmaster Teresa took the challenge in the last minute because one of the speakers dropped out because of health reasons. And the last moment she came and gave such a wonderful speech. Adding to what Toastmaster Karunakar said, when you said FPS, I thought it's family pension scheme. And there's a lot of discussions is going on about increased pension and all that. I thought, no, not another session. And then she said it's fear of public speaking. I was so delighted. I was so happy. only one suggestion I would give is when you give an example and give a subject topic, when the example should reinforce the subject what you're speaking, the example should be credible. You gave a very fiction, it's not real. Okay, so when you give, probably you should give an example of real life happening, of how it has helped somebody in public speaking, fear of public speaking. And can you give the subject as a motive? That's only one suggestion I would give. The next speaker was Chaitra, who is being evaluated by Toastmaster Ganesh Pai. Please come and evaluate.
Fellow Toastmasters, guests, and my target speaker, Toastmaster Chaitra in particular, a very good evening to you all. Very good evening. Someone once said, three things are extremely difficult, or three things are extremely hard: steel, a diamond, and to know oneself. And this is what this project exactly demanded. To know about your own communication style and talk about your communication style in front of communication aficionados who gathered here. And I must say, Toastmaster Chaitra, you did a fabulous job and you are right on the money. And given that you are an analytical speaker, let me pay you back in the same coin and tell you why you did a fantastic job. To begin with, throughout your speech, you stayed within the boundary conditions. This speech was all about knowing yourself in terms of your communication style and then explaining about that to us. And we clearly see your evolution from someone who had pointed answers and then how you became a good listener. We could actually see entire journey right in front of our eyes. Amazing. Number two, how you took care of basics, be it the enticing beginning and then the nice transition, the poise, the rich vocabulary. I think you just stuck to basics throughout and possibly goes on to show how good an analytical speaker you are. Third is the use of humor. I mean, be it the bullet point answer or lending ear to your friend or that cut and dry response on a server problem. The best part was, yes, there was humor, but how you use that to bring in, show the contrast. And we could actually see what is supportive style of communication and what is analytical or direct. So you masterfully use the humor to showcase your communication style. Now, if I were to say you have ticked all the conventional success markers for this project, just a couple of points to add Teflon coating. While we really saw your evolution, maybe you could have dwelled a little bit on how analytical style is helping you in your entrepreneurial journey. Because having the analytical style, it requires a little bit of rigorous in terms of thought process, and not that many can have it. So you should have told us how it is really helping you to excel in your entrepreneurial journey. Number two, I think you ended the speech with 45 seconds left. If you could have used that to pack in with a nice conclusion, because your conclusion was rather a bit subdued as compared to your beginning, I think that would have been better. All in all, an amazing, well-organized speech with always sticking to the basics, good humor, delivered with aplomb. If you could have just packed it with a use case on your entrepreneurial journey and had an amazing ending, I think that would take it from superb to sublime. We have heard about your journey, but today your mom, who had seen this whole evolution, I think she's smiling ear to ear and is extremely proud of you. All the best for your upcoming speeches. Back to the gentleman.
Thank you, Ganesh, Toastmaster Ganesh. And Toastmaster Chaitra, I should also admire you because you did one thing which many speakers are afraid of doing. That's asking a question to the audience. And the answer is such a way that it has in your speech the types. You know, when you talk about types of communication, when audience answered and it was already there in your speech. It's a big gamble, big risk. You need a lot of courage to do that, but you did that and did it wonderfully. Let me come to Toastmaster Dhanya. Dhanya is doing first time this role of Toastmaster, right? And you can see her preparation she has done, see the confidence she had enthused, and she is so relaxed and smiling. That goes to show the amount of efforts she has put in behind her, today's performance. In fact, she called me about 4 days back, confirming, asking my background, and I'm sure she has done with all the role takers. And she was prepared when one role taker backed out, and she is able to fill in somebody and ensure that the meeting goes seamlessly well. Give Dhanya a big round of applause. Few suggestions, Dhanya. When you introduced Toastmaster Teresa, you wanted to tell more about her, but by the time she introduced, the audience was so excited, they were clapping. And when they were clapping, you're speaking. Never speak when audience is applauding. Respect the audience and keep quiet. And then say whatever you want to say. Otherwise, we'll miss out on whatever you have to say. Probably that is something which all of us have to learn. But you did a good transition from one speaker to another. That's very well done. You took the point from the previous speaker's speech and again stitched it and called the next speaker. We all have to learn how to conduct MC or Toastmasters journey. The next role taker was Kamlesh, TM Toastmaster Kamlesh. Kamlesh told me that I'm going to give a simple topics. I didn't know it was so simple. But it was so difficult to the extent that even it stumped our ace table topic speaker, Ankit. Where is it? Okay, tomatoes. Ankit could have, actually, he spoke so well, but in the end he said, I don't know what to speak on. He could not, we need not tell that, right? Unless you tell, if you tell, audience knows. If you don't tell, audience doesn't know. So just close. If you don't know anything, just close that thing. So, but that's well done. Good, 20 people spoke, 20 Toastmasters speak in the table topic session. Well done effort by Toastmaster Kamlesh. My suggestion is, now, when you're doing table topic, if you're telling the name of the Toastmaster, then calling him, all other Toastmasters are relaxed. They know, okay, this guy is Banna, now he will come and talk. And then you give the topic. Don't do that. If I was the table topic, I will just give the topic. Make all of them think. Everybody will be thinking because they don't know who's going to be called. And then call the Toastmaster. So when you do 20 times, all of them are active mentally. Okay, so let's do that trick. So internationally, that's how it's done. You give the topic, call the table topic speaker, and again repeat the topic. Doesn't matter. And then give them time. Of course, because it's so simple topic, you thought let's give a chance, call them. But that's well done. I like the topics. It was so easy, but it looks easy, but it's not so easy when you come here and speak. Some of the speakers whom I wanted to talk about when they spoke, Robinson, of course, was the boss. He could speak fluently. Ayappa talked about revenge very nicely. Because romance you do not speak, so immediately you talked about revenge, you were taking a revenge on me because I gave that. And then he clubbed boss and romance. But he didn't flinch. He gave a nice speech. I like that. Puneet said, I'm the party. That's all. Party, I'm the party. That's well done, Puneet. I like that speech. And Puneet also came down the stage, and then started giving his. We all need to enjoy the stage presence. I can see that in Puneet. When he comes here, he's just waiting for the opportunity. He comes here and enjoys the presence. That's all we need to learn from Puneet. Saurav talked about rain. Of course, he had a personal experience, so he could be easily talked about. Aditya was OTT. It was very easy, and he had knowledge about it. I think he left. Oh, he's there. Yeah, he was loud and clear. Keerthana talked about library and he connected aspects to the library easily. That was easy. Well done. Looks easy, but not easy when you come here and speak. Sambat Kumar talked about family. Rahul D'Souza, childhood. I think about traffic. Melvin talked about values. Brought in humor, Melvin, in your speech. Very difficult. I like people who come and give, have the humor in their speech. When Teresa comes, we know there will be humor. That's how it is. So it is really nice. Vishwanath talked about health. Gangadhar talked about fashion. Very, very valid points he brought in. Karan talked about holidays. Srinivas, nature. So many other topics. So for this job of doing this wonderful table topic session, what do we give? Have you seen a movie called Karthik Calling Karthik?
Yes.
Now Nitin is going to call Nitin because Nitin is doing time job. Please come and give your report.
So everybody will stick to the time limit. During prepared speeches, Toastmaster, there is someone has taken 10 seconds extra. Apart from that, everyone was on time. Thank you.
Akaunder, are you comfortable sitting there and giving a speech? Okay, can you give your report, please?
So it was my first time of the accountant review, and somehow through PMOD's focus exercises, I was able to say through. And through that focus, I could find out the favorite words of few of my Toastmasters. You all should know that Toastmaster Saurabh's favorite word is you know. Do I know? And Aditya, yes, he likes to be right, and he used a lot of rights. And Toastmaster Srinivas and Aditya Young. So basically, their favorite words are basically. So my request is for the fellow Toastmasters to reduce your favorite word, favorism, to one particular crutch word and to concentrate on my other lonely crutch words as well. So let's have a round of applause for the Toastmasters who spoke without any crutch words. Those are Toastmaster Shashank, Toastmaster Chaitra, Toastmaster Keerthana, Toastmaster Vishal, Toastmaster Alan, Toastmaster Karunakar, and Toastmaster Nitin. And for the reviewing to be easy, I kept the limit of 5 crutch words. So the few Toastmasters who just crossed the limit were Toastmaster Saurabh, Toastmaster Karan, Toastmaster Nisha, and Toastmaster Shubhanshu. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I invite Toastmaster Ratan Shetty for his report on grammar. In the meantime, I also had noticed one point when Toastmaster Pandey was speaking about mangoes. There was some, audience, they were speaking among themselves. I could hear, but I could not pinpoint. I would suggest that whenever somebody comes and speaks, give them the full attention. They deserve that, and they're learning, they're nervous. So you need to give that kind of attention and respect. That is my another observation. Toastmaster Ratan Shetty.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. What I'd like to do is give you a flavor of the good usages in terms of the good usage of language, also the figures of speech wherever they were used, and some nice words. After that, I'd like to give you the not so good usages and what one can use instead of them. Coming to the good usages, we had some figures of speech like alliterations, where freshly minted member That was also a very nice way of saying that, freshly minted member, good usage of language. Then we had similes like cool as a cucumber and like a Ram Gopal Verma movie. We had metaphors like paying a bomb, nobody pays a bomb, pay you back with the same coin, smiling ear to ear, fruit salad of a time, and one more alliteration where a speaker said little bit of magic, little bit of mystery. Coming to some nice words which were used today, we had bizarre, a nice usage but probably not a nice word, profanity, and aficionados. And then we had some other words like orchard which were used today. Normally we use the word garden, but we today got to hear the word orchard. Other good usages of language, rant a little bit, live with them and live for them, by hook or by crook. So a good use of language need not be a good word, so to say. It can have a negative connotation as well. Coming to the not so good usages, get down from the number, getting the numbers wrong. We spend most of our time, we spend most of our time made Ranga to get more punishment, punished Ranga further. I set the lion to give an after dinner speech. I asked the lion to give an after dinner speech. Complete blank, completely blank. Focus towards very simple should be focused towards being simple. From nowhere I became somewhere can be from no one I became someone, or from nowhere I went somewhere. Had a complete clarity should have been had complete clarity. Confidence one has enthused can be confidence one has infused. That would be a better way of putting it. And one thing that I'd like to mention is that towards the end we had one speaker rattle a lot of figures of speech, and some of them were pay you back with the same coin, which I mentioned, cut and dry, superb to sublime, smiling ear to ear. I don't know if I'm allowed to name the speaker, but yes, we had a flurry at the end. Now coming to enticement, the word was used by Toastmaster Dhanya, Toastmaster Aditya, Toastmaster Rahul D'Souza, and Toastmaster Alan in its various forms. A big round of applause to all those who used the word today. With that, I pass it back to the Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ratan. 2 months back, when I met our VP Education, Toastmaster Priyanka, she requested me kindly take up one role in the club. I gave her a list of activities I am doing and all that. She said, starve your distraction and feed on the focus now. I said, okay, that was a good enticement to come here and give a speech. Thank you, Toastmaster Priyanka, and also the President and the team for giving this opportunity, for coming here and giving a general evaluation. Thank you very much. Over to Toastmaster Daniel.
I learned so much from all those evaluations. What about you?
Yes, we did.
Yes. And I think all our evaluators today were experienced Toastmasters who gave us so much detailed feedback. And our general evaluator, Toastmaster Nitin, gave us so much detailed and very positive feedback. And coming back to enticement, It was true. I'm going to make this quick. There were two definitions for FPS. Please put up your hand. Who wants to answer? There were two definitions for FPS which came up today. Oh, sorry. First, yes, please.
Fear of public speaking. The second one being family pension scheme.
That's great. Please, could you pass this on? Three styles of communication. Can anyone name any three styles of communication? I need one person's hand up.
Vijay.
Okay.
Analytical, direct, supportive.
And last, what's the price of tomato today?
160. 120.
120.
120.
I've lifted the hand at 130.
This goes to our guest for the day.
Thank you.
To all our club members, the voting lines are open. The password is change, all in small letters. Change. Thank you so much for being such enthusiastic team today here. I'll hand over to our president.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dhanya. While you take some time to vote, I'll quickly follow up the announcements which were made last week and have one new announcement today. First was regarding the membership renewal. So 29 July is the date scheduled for our club members to renew. As you know, as you may be aware by now, if you pay the membership fees for the term October 23 to March 24, by the end of July 31st, you can continue with the existing rate. From 1st of July, Toastmasters International has hiked the fees. So please make the most of it. Make your membership payments by 29th of July to the club. Let us give 2 days time for a treasurer to compile towards the end of the month and make the payments at the earliest. Next, speechcraft session. It's a fast-track public speaking course offered by Toastmasters and especially our club. The next session is starting on the 6th August 2023, first Sunday of August. It's an 8-week course. For more details regarding speechcraft, please talk to the committee members of Bangalore Toastmasters Club. We have Toastmaster Priyanka, the VP Education. We have Toastmaster Jose Paul, who's called today many times as VP membership. We have Toastmaster Ratan Shetty as the treasurer, Toastmaster Suhas as the secretary. Not only them, you are free to talk to all the members regarding the meetings, how the meeting goes, regarding the speechcraft events. It's like an open platform after the meeting. Next, we have the business meeting scheduled on 21st of July to discuss the budget for the upcoming term, July to December. And a feed forward form was sent yesterday by me over WhatsApp as well as by mail. We request you to give your honest opinion and feedback regarding your expectations from this committee for this term. We'll make sure we look into all the expectations and reservations which you have and suggestions and recommendations which you have. We'll try to implement it to the best abilities as much as possible. We also made announcements regarding the subcommittees. All the committees have very good subcommittee members. This does not stop you from not contributing to the club. As I mentioned, the theme of this meeting is Together We Evolve. We request you to support the committee and the club in taking it to the next level. So please feel free to take part, volunteer, help us grow together. Having said that, it's time for the awards. Let us start with the Best Evaluator Award. It goes to Toastmaster Alan Arana. The Best Auxiliary Role Taker, that is the Best Tag Team Player, goes to the grammarian Toastmaster Ratan Shetty. The best role taker award goes to Toastmaster Nitin, our general. Apologies for that delay. We had 20 table topic speakers today, so it was difficult to compile the results. And I don't remember in the recent past 20 table topic speakers on stage. So, one more round of applause for our table topic speakers. For the guests who did not get an opportunity, I know a couple of them asked for a slot. Because we give chance, we make it a point to give a chance to all the members. So first preference is given to the members, but you're always welcome. We'll try to give you a chance in the session next week. The best table topic speaker award goes to Toastmaster Puneet Surana.
Yeah, keep making galata.
The best speaker for today. The best speaker award goes to Toastmaster Chaitra Chandapillai. Thank you very much for taking times of your busy schedules and joining us today for this wonderful meeting. I know we are a little behind schedule, but I hope it was worth it. Thank you all. Looking forward to meeting you next week once again. I now adjourn meeting number 1385.